What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to check out this video right here. Trump declares atheists as terrorists. Now, before we get into this video, remember guys, on this channel, we do not play sports teams when it comes to politics, okay? I do not want to see any lefty shit, righty shit, libtards, fucking right-wing grifters, any of that crap down here, because you guys are all smart enough. We're going to look at this stuff on a per-policy basis. I don't care who brings shit into law. I look at the policies and I determine whether that is good for me or not. And additionally, I am an atheist, so this matters to me because what happens in America generally rolls down to Australia. Australia is like the bitch child of both America and China. Yeah, it's a weird-ass relationship we got. We're going to make both older brothers happy or they both kick us in the balls. So I'm curious to see if there's something actually going on that's going to affect us atheists. Now, secondly, about atheism. A lot of you might be wondering, oh, Evildea, why are you an atheist? Well, I'm an atheist because no one has come down from heaven above and spoken to me yet. That's pretty much it. I never set out to be an atheist. I've just been one because no one's spoken to me. If they do speak to me, I'll probably shit my pants and then be like, holy fuck, it's Zeus, you know what I mean? Like, it would blow me away and it would probably change my entire perspective on life. And in fact, that's half the reason, I'm going to segue a little bit right now, why I love going to actual haunted houses with my mates. Like, whenever they say they're going to go do a haunted house experience, as an atheist, you generally look at that stuff like, it's just people scaring themselves. But at the same time, I'm super curious, and maybe there is something. And if there's ghosts, naturally that means there's spirits, and if there's spirits, therefore there's some type of supernatural, and therefore there must be like a god, and that would just completely change my perspective on life. So I'm always like curious and searching about that stuff, and I just also enjoy scaring the shit out of myself. So I love going and doing those types of experiences. In fact, there was this one time I went to a haunted house with some of my mates, and there was this one room, okay, in the house. It was a big house, and there wasn't too many people. We were there as part of a tour, and there was a bathroom, and they said if you sit in this bathtub by yourself and just stare into the mirror, which obviously is going to freak the fuck out, like freak yourself out doing that. If you sit in the mirror, in the dark, in this bathtub, the girl who apparently offed herself a long, long time ago will appear to you, okay? So naturally, me being an atheist, but also super curious about these things, sat down in that bathtub, alone, staring at myself in the mirror, fucking freaking out every little bit of hair or breath I felt around me, because, you know, deep down, you're still scared of the dark. We're animals, okay? And then, I had the shit absolutely pushed out of me in the most violent of manners as some girl opened the door, walked into the room, and I was like, whoa, and she was like, meh! And then she ran out of the room, okay? And then after the experience was over, the tour guide was like, did anyone experience anything? And this girl was absolutely standing there telling this massive story about how she saw the ghost in the bathtub. It like yelled at her and shit, and I was like, wait, no, that was fucking me. It was me, but I didn't want to, like, ruin her experience, because, you know, that's why you went. So I didn't say anything. But, like, I was legit the ghost that day. Anyway, we're going to check out this video about atheists. And finally, one more time, I need to stress this, guys. Here, I actually liked what someone said in one of my previous videos. We perform Evildeaism, which is basically like, we look at shit on an individual basis and we don't play team sports, okay? So let's see what this girl's got to say.
I know things are pretty depressing right now in the United States, so I'm going to open today's video with some good news. Jimmy Kimmel is back. That's right, his show was taken off the air because he was insufficiently mournful of Charlie Kirk, but now he's back, so let's just enjoy a little moment of celebration.
Okay, I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel. Let's get to the atheists.
Okay, on to the main topic of today's video. Donald Trump has just declared that atheists are terrorists. That's cool. Not sure what I'm dreading more, Guantanamo or New Atheism 2.0, newer atheism. I say that with love because
I'm a little bit confused by this statement, new atheism. I feel like I must not run in the right circles or something, because, like, I don't, like, walk around declaring I'm an atheist. I just don't believe in a god. Like, I just don't think about these things. I don't even know if I'm actually an atheist. Because I don't believe in a god, but then at the same time, if one came down, like, I'm open. Like, I go to haunted houses and stuff, so does that make me agnostic? I don't even know. Like, to me, this is not something I'm ideologically wedded to. I just don't care.
I was there for the first round of New Atheism, and I enjoyed it for a while. In the wake of 9/11, we were seeing a big push from Christian fundamentalists who were starting to use the Bible to justify starting a war, putting prayer and creationism back in schools, and controlling women's right to access basic health care.
I don't know if this is true in America, but in Australia, obviously we have groups that are doing this stuff here, okay? You got the religious groups always trying to push, you know, prayer at school and stuff like that. But I don't like how, maybe this is true in America, but in Australia, it's not just Christians that do it. All the religious groups do it. And they even work together. So you have the Islamic groups, you have the Christian groups, you have the Jewish groups. They will work together when it's to their benefit of getting, you know, religion, certain things regarding religions pushed and stuff like that. And you know what? How do I say this? I don't blame them for trying to push that. This is what they fully believe. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with it. So I'm going to fight against it. But I don't I'm not going to call them like Christian fascists or anything like that. I just don't believe in what they believe, and therefore I'm going to fight against that specific thing. But they're not a fascist for it because that is their beliefs.
It felt really important to push back on all of that to protect the wall separating church and state, lest the U.S. fall into Christo-fascism. But then it turned out that the guys leading the new
There you go, Christo-fascism again. So she's... I forget the technical word for this. There's actually a thing. A lot of YouTubers do this, okay? I've seen it so much. What they do is they paint an image of all this stuff. She's saying all these things. We haven't seen anything about atheists and Donald Trump yet, and we're a minute in, okay? She's painting all this stuff so that when we finally get to it, we've already got a set mind on our opinions regarding what we're going to look at. So it's... Can someone let me know in the comment section what that's called? It's where you basically... You put someone in a state of mind that you want them to be in so that when you present the actual topic, they're going to arrive at the same conclusion as you.
Atheism charge, we're accepting loads of money and hanging out with a pedophile running a vast sex trafficking ring. And instead of taking my advice on how to get more women involved, they blackballed me from the...
What is this? At this time, Dave Silverman was heading up the Reason Rally Committee. Oh, okay, here we go. A committee. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but I've worked in a couple of non-profits in my time. I was even a director of publicity for the Australian Esperanto Association. I took on that role because, one, I love Esperanto, but two, at the time, I was an actor and I wanted to work, you know, with the media. I wanted to make contacts. So it was kind of self-serving, but at the same time, I fucking loved Esperanto. But the one thing I discovered is that non-profits are brutal. Okay, they are worse than fucking for-profit companies, because at least in for-profit companies, people will fuck each other over in order to get promoted, in order to make money, okay? So you can kind of plan around it, you can work it to your benefit, or you can make sure that those characters don't move ahead if you've got the power, okay? But in a non-profit, people are meant to be there because they believe in the idea, but I swear to God, half the people that are actually engaged in non-profits within the, like, organizations of them are just there because they're power hungry and they just want to feel important. The amount of people I had constantly attacking me about bullshit that wasn't even related to what I was doing in the non-profit, after 6 months, I was like, I'm out. I'm over this shit. I can promote Esperanto way better outside the confounds of this, like, friggin' association. Like, I had one chick, because I was making Esperanto vlogs online at the same time, okay? And there's this painting of Zamenhof in the Esperanto house here. Now, for those who don't know, Zamenhof in the Esperanto community is a respected and revered figure, okay? It would be like a founding father in the US, okay? But we've got, like, his painting everywhere. I'm very anti, like, cultish behavior, no matter what group I take part in. And every now and then, people get very cultish around Zamenhof. They treat him like, you know, he's very, very, very important, okay? So I made a video in which my friend was basically making out with the Zamenhof painting. And then I had this one chick who, like, wrote to the local association absolutely demanding that they, one, boot me out of the association, remove all my privileges, publicly state and orchestrate me, like, say that he is in no way related to Esperanto. These were all of her demands. Like, I saw the email come in because, well, I was the publicity director. Anyway, so this shit's coming in okay. And then on top of that, I swear to God, she worded it in such a way that she was basically asking for a public whipping. It was insane. It was insane. But anyway, I don't like taking part in non-profits anymore. Most people there are power hungry, or you have to deal with idiots.
Lecture circuit and sent their fans after me with death threats. And here we are, Christo-fascism.
Lots of YouTubers say they've got death threats. I don't think I've ever actually got a death threat. I think the worst I've got, and I actually posted this to my Discord, like outside, you know, just me having backwards and forwards with random YouTubers, is one person, if they're watching this, they're probably going to laugh because I think it's a joke. I'm not even sure. But they emailed me and they said I was one ugly motherfucker. And that was it. They just straight up, just letting you know you're an ugly looking motherfucker. And then they finished it with thanks. So I was like, okay. And that was it. Okay. Oh, wait. No, I forgot about that guy. Oh, man. Okay, so there was actually a guy who tried to wrap me up in a whole terrorist thing over in Canada. That's a story for another day. If you've been watching this channel long enough, you know all about that one.
I'll be honest, I didn't think that our failure would lead us all the way here. I've spent some time recently just trying to put myself back in my headspace circa 2008 or so, and I'm pretty sure all I had imagined was that we would go back to like the 1950s where atheists can't hold off.
This chick is rambling and she's definitely painting a picture. Can we get to the actual atheists?
And women don't have access to abortions or birth control, and creationism is taught in...
Like, I'm an atheist and this is starting to piss me off, okay? But I'm not just going to cheer on my particular camp. I want to look at the actual issue.
Science classrooms, that kind of thing. I definitely did not consider that the President of the United States would, in the year 2025, direct the country's national security forces to investigate and disrupt people who have committed no crime, but who are deemed sufficiently anti-Christian. Because, yeah.
Wait, so anti-Christian is him declaring atheists as terrorists. Okay, that seems like a bit of a stretch, but let's go look this up. Trump's NSPM7 labels common beliefs as terrorism indicators. Okay, so I found the article in question, which is this one she's referring to. And it says, with the mainstream media distracted by made-for-TV drama of James Comey's indictment, Trump has signed a little-noticed national security directive identifying anti-Christian, anti-American views as indicators of radical left violence. Well, yeah, they could be indicators. But this is the problem with any of these laws which are designed to basically push down people with different ideas. Okay, this has the exact same issue as anti-blasphemy laws, the exact same issue as age verification laws, the exact same issue as pretty much anything that attempts you, like tries to stop you from doing something, okay? So it's not very free speech-like. But here, it also could be true. If someone is anti-Christian, they could be a freaking violent terrorist. They could go out and kill people. We've seen that happen, okay? Anti-American, that could also lead to that. But it's a spectrum. You're going to have tons of people in that camp who are going to be like anti-Christian, but at the same time, they're not going to harm anyone. Or anti-American, at the same time, not going to harm anyone. So let's have a look into what this actually states. I'm on the White House website. I read through this part of the article. Most of this is your standard political talk, and then we're going to get down to the actual section. So it's about, the whole anti-fascism movement in America. So what do we got? I just saw it a second ago. Okay, so common threads animating this violent conduct include anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, gender, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. Okay, so here's the thing. Every government in the world is bringing in this shit. They're bringing in, all these new laws to fight anti-something, okay? And it doesn't matter what government's in power. They bring in something anti, like the New South Wales government just recently brought in lots of laws to fight anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and all this type of stuff. And they literally posted this, and I saw an Australian YouTuber, a comedian, saying, well, I can't make jokes about freaking race and religion anymore simply due to these new laws. And he had actually been taken to the Human Rights Commission in Australia over making Aboriginal jokes. So it's like, this is the problem. Where is the line between danger and just someone who's just unhappy with the system and is trying to express it? And the problem is everyone thinks, oh, well, the solution to this is let's bring out some new laws to fight it. And that never works out because that just gets reused by the next group in a different way, in ways that it just harms everyone in the long term. So yes, this is shit, but it's also not anti-atheist. Actually, now having thought about this for about 10 more seconds, I really don't like what this chick has done. Anti-Christian is not necessarily atheist. I am not anti-Christian. I have no problem with Christians. Like, my first fucking girlfriend was Christian, okay? I've read the Bible, well, at least parts of it, just out of fascination. I did that in Esperanto. I've also read the Quran in Esperanto, and a bit of the Book of Mormon in Esperanto as well, just because, like, out of interest. So I don't want to be lumped in with anti-Christians. I'm not anti-Christian, and I'm definitely not anti-Australian or anti-American or anti-capitalism, obviously, because I am a capitalist.
That's what's happened. As Ken Klippenstein pointed out in a recent newsletter, this is not just another of Trump's many ramblings.
But I do want to add one thing here as well. I do not like there being laws to target people who are anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-capitalism, because that basically shuts down the ability for people to present opposing opinions. It's the same thing with capitalism, okay? I say I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist because that is the best way for me to thrive in the current society in which we exist. If a better system came along, then I would probably support that system. Now, I know people are going to like come down in my comment section and be like, well, that's communism, Evildea. No, it's not. It's not a better system, especially since we're moving into the age of AI and robotics and stuff. It's a system for the past that never happened, and it's not suitable for today. And history has taught us that, in theory, it sounds great. Implementation never works out. So I don't know what system could replace capitalism, but at the moment we got capitalism, and I'm a capitalist.
Executive orders, despite what some news outlets like C-SPAN are reporting. Executive orders are guidelines for the day-to-day operation of the federal government. What we're talking about today is a national security directive, which, as Ken explains, is a sweeping policy decree for the defense, foreign policy, intelligence, and law enforcement apparatus. National security directives are often secret, but in this case, the Trump administration chose to publish NSPM 7, only the seventh since he's come into office. Previous national security directives have been controversial, even politically earth-shaking. In 1980, for example, President Jimmy Carter signed the top-secret Presidential Directive 59, PD 59, directing new nuclear warfighting policies that persisted until the end of the Cold War.
I'm not sure how this is relevant. And in fact, I feel like this is painting again, because she's saying the only time these are being used is like in like nuclear war scenarios, okay? I don't know if that's actually relevant. So far, what I've learned from this is that Trump is bringing out laws to fight anti-Christianism, what was the other one? Anti-capitalism and anti-some other shit, okay? But at no point was there something targeted at atheists. And what she's implied so far is that if you're anti-Christian, therefore you're an atheist. Now, maybe this is how Trump actually thinks. Maybe he thinks atheists are just naturally anti-Christian, but I have not seen that link so far.
When revealed, PD 59 caused a public furor. So yeah, while we can all chuckle at Trump's executive order labeling anti-fascists as terrorists, NSPM 7 is actually a bigger fucking deal. In this document, he commands the existing network of counterterrorism forces to stop investigating actual terrorists who are focused on slaughtering American citizens, and to start investigating organizations and individuals who display any kind of anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government,
I think anyone would be against a group trying to overthrow their own government. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm a little bit more touchy on this anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity thing, because you can be anti, but at the same time, as long as you don't take it to an extreme where you're trying to hurt people, that's fine. Like, what is anti-capitalism, for example? Is anti-capitalism just like, hey, capitalism has flaws, these are the flaws, how can we work in the current system, or even, work for the long term to slowly change over systems? Okay, well, then I've got no issue with that. If anti-capitalism is, I'm going to go down and blow up buildings that, house people who work within the stock market, I'm against that, okay? So it's like, this is the problem. When you have these broad-ranging laws, they're going to be misused. Just like all the other laws that are always misused. This is why I hate governments.
Extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility towards those.
And I say I hate governments, but at the same time, they're almost like a necessary evil.
Who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. Not to be dramatic, but that was a list of like 8 behaviors, and depending on how you define extremism, I'm pretty sure I've done all of those. Have I ever committed any kind of violence? No, but that doesn't matter because Trump directs forces to intervene before they result in violent political acts.
Well, every secret agency within like a government does that. Like, that's how we foil terrorist attacks. We don't wait for them to happen. We foil them before they happen.
The weaponizing of post 9/11 anti-terrorism measures to target American citizens is in no way surprising. We pointed it out.
Okay, I don't think there's anything more about... What do we got? Yeah, no, see, I've been speaking already for 21 minutes. I will drop a video link down in the description below if you want to support the YouTuber, go watch them. Even if you don't want to watch them, you could just put them on play, you could mute it, and that will give them some dollars in the background. However, I will drop out of this video at this point because I've got what this is about. This is basically a directive targeting groups that are basically trying to hurt people. However, it could be misused, and that's what the fear is here. The one thing I don't like is how this chick is trying to link atheists with anti-Christian. Okay, I don't know why she's doing that, because in my mind, that is not the same thing. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this video, and I guess a more nuanced take looking at these types of things, let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Unless, of course, I see a ghost. In which case, I'm going to shit myself.